Alrighty, Chem folks. So we finally got an answer from Apex about how we're going to do labs in this class. Okay. So let's say you finally got to a lab. So this is one of the Unit 1 labs. So I click on my lab. There's some important information leading up to the lab. So maybe there's a few activities you guys can work on. If you keep advancing, eventually you'll find the pre-lab. Okay. So this pre-lab, if you were to click on this, this is an actual written assignment. It's usually pretty brief, kind of just sort of stirring the pot in terms of what you're thinking through. Now, this will be on Schoology, so you can go ahead and fill this in the Google Doc on Schoology. So make sure you do that. That's where you'll have the blue writing show up for you and everything. So for every lab, you're going to start by doing the pre-lab. And then you'll notice on the next page, it says wet lab. Wet lab. Okay. So if I were to click on this handout, you'll start noticing materials and equipment and be like HCl, KOH, bromothiamyl blue. Mr. Pilcher, I don't have any of those things. And you'll see like, okay, we got acid here. It's like diameter that one drop of liquid wicks. Be like, I can't do this lab. Like, what am I supposed to do? Great question. You can't do this lab. So this is the wet lab, meaning you need the actual chemicals to do this lab. But if you advance one more section, then you'll see dry lab. Okay, so the dry lab is the exact same thing as the wet lab, except it's only on paper. That's why it's called the dry lab. What do you mean it's only on paper, Mr. Pilcher? Well, if you click on this lab handout, yes, it's the exact same setup, but you are given data. See how this was blank on the previous page, but this is a number that you were given. So dry labs are basically labs you can do without actually busting out any chemicals. Now, it doesn't mean every single box is filled in. But what that does mean is any box that you could only fill in by doing the actual lab with chemicals is filled in for you. So this box right here, which is blank, that means that you should be able to fill this in based on the information the lab has provided for you. And again, this document will be on Schoology as well. So that's how we're going to be doing labs in this class. Always just go straight to the pre-lab, or go to the pre-lab, do that first, and then skip the wet lab and go straight to the dry lab. Okay? All right, folks. Go get them.